Sci-Tech Nutrition. Premium quality products. State-of-the-art look. Uncompromised ingredient quality. Our products work and taste good. www.scitechnutrition.com.
Chris Aceto on the stage immediately after the EVLS Pro 212 and Open European Professional Bodybuilding Championships. I'm standing here with the 212 winner, Jose Raymond, who has agreed with me to break down the 212-pound class because he's a realist, with the exception of when it comes to you having the cockamamie idea that you can take out Flex Lewis. But no, he's a realist, and he has great respect for his competitors, and the competitors have great respect for him. So I said, hey, Jose, why don't you jump up here, and we'll talk about your win, but let's put it in context of this very deep lineup. I mean, this is a 212-pound class. What we know about the 212-pounders is you guys come in peeled inside out. Even the guys, there's guys here who are 10th, who I don't even know their names. They're from, quote, Europe. They get the striated glutes, the Christmas trees. They may have some structural issues or not quite enough muscle, and they come in 10th place. But let's just break down the top 5, which was local favorite.
Milan Sadek.
Milan Sadek.
Yeah.
What was your impression of Milan?
He was awesome. I saw pictures leading up to the show about him. And he had one of those classic, beautiful physiques. He's about your height. He's like 5'9" or 5'10" even, yeah. So he had tiny waist, flaring quads, and wide shoulders. Had great condition, everything you would need. He's just too tall. He needs to, add a little bit more size for us short guys, But he's got a hell of a future. He's 26 years old, and he wants it. He's a bodybuilder through and through. So he's going to make the improvements and more than likely be in the open class before you know it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Really, to be effective, he's got a great shape, great flow. He's got to be an open guy. Next place, 4th place was this guy always sneaks into these placings and places well due to his condition, was from Paul Carrasco from Spain. What was your take on Paul?
Yeah, Raul. Great structure, big upper body, wide back. His conditions is what carries him because, his legs are a little lacking, calves, hamstrings, but everything else is pretty good. Every once in a while he comes in a little flat and it hurts him, but when he's full and hard, he's one of the bigger guys up there. Yeah, so he's a good presenter, poser, presents his physique very well. So, it catches the eye. And that's part of bodybuilding. You got to get, there's more to it than just having muscle. You got to actually get the judges to look at you.
Speaking of looking at you, Ahmad Ahmad came in here. It's got great structure, great flow, wide shoulders, tapered waist. He's had issues in the past in terms of leg mass, total development. I thought they were better here, and he secured the 3rd spot. What was your analysis of Ahmad Ahmad?
I'm really happy for Ahmad. He's consistently gotten better every show, and that's huge. I give him a lot of respect for that because a lot of people come back the same show after show, and he's gotten better every show. His condition is better. He's adding a little bit more muscle, and he's one of the widest guys on stage. So, structurally, when he comes out alone, you're like, game over, until you put someone a little thicker next to him. His legs have come up. Everything, another young guy. He's got to be only 27 years old, so he's doing unbelievable. He's got another future, and he's very light, believe it or not. He's got to be at least 10 pounds under the limit, so it's
an illusion.
Yeah, he's a 212 guy that's going to be
room for growth.
Absolutely.
What about and second was the real battle here, of course, was your neighbor, David Henry. I thought David was better here than the Olympia. I thought he just got a lot of gnarly muscle shots, the most muscular, side chest, side tricep. What do you think made what was the difference, between, why are you standing here doing the wrap-up and not David Henry?
Because I was better than him.
Who does a better wrap-up, you or David?
Oh, by far me. But, it is interesting. 2 Massachusetts natives fly all the way to Prague, and it comes down to the 2 of us. David's awesome. He's beaten my ass for years.
Yes, he has. People don't know that.
Yeah, years and years. I wish I could beat him. And it took me time to mature for my upper body to catch my legs, and now I'm a little more balanced than he is. My condition's a little bit harder, grainier than his, and that's ultimately what pulled it through. It was my condition, my overall bang, size. When you just look at him alone, he's so round, but when I'm standing next to him, I kind of negate that with the hard muscle, and I've beaten him a handful of times now in a row, and as long as I keep improving, I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Well, my hat off to everyone here on the tour is just death tired, but you and David flew from Vegas, from the Olympia, back to Massachusetts, out to Korea for a show, back on a plane to Massachusetts to train for a day and a half, and then back here to Prague. So, when people say that professional bodybuilding is not a difficult sport, it's this tour is just grueling on people. Speaking of grueling, we're going to move on to the Open, which there was a lot of depth here in the Open show. Sixth place goes to Raleigh Winkler. Raleigh came in here, I thought, looking similar than he did in Spain. What was your impression of Raleigh?
I thought I didn't see him in Spain, but I know he's definitely better than he was at the Olympia. He's tighter. He might have been a little flat in the legs, but he's got so many knockout punches that even when he's off, he's still beating the majority of guys. And
what's his best shot?
He's that most muscular for sure.
He makes the face look crazy.
Yeah, he's a crazy Samoan face, and he's shaking his head around. That's a crazy shot, and I told him to hit that for everything.
Speaking of crazy, William Bonac, in his own right, is another former 212 guy, is looking pretty crazy. He secured the 5th place spot. I thought when William Bonac reminds me, I said in the play-by-play, of Thierry Pastel, French bodybuilder from 15, 20 years ago, where he comes out by himself and you think he's unbeatable, but also a shorter, lighter boned guy, heavily packed with muscle. And usually he struggles to get by the taller guys, a fuller Raleigh and a fuller Wolf. But here, I think, this was the roundest I think we've ever seen him. What was your impression of Bonac?
I'm happy for him. He's another one who deserves all the accolades he's been getting. He's been working his ass off, and there's been a couple near misses in these last couple of shows where it could have gone either way. He could have placed a little higher, and he's just so jam-packed with muscle that it's crazy. Sometimes I don't know what to make of him, but he deserves where he is, and I'm very happy for him. I think he's only going to keep getting better. It's another guy that's young. He's in his early 30s, if that, and he's just getting better and better and better. Once that condition that he had as a 212 matches with
marinates.
Yeah, with
all that muscle.
Yeah, he's going to be crazy. He'll win any small show he wants to do.
Dennis Wolf, last year's defending champion, comes in here. I thought he looked great in prejudging, maybe a little bit on the flat side. Maybe he flattened as the day went on, or for the night show. This has got to be a blow to Dennis Wolf, the placing. What was your assessment of Dennis?
We spoke about Dennis earlier.
We speak about everything.
Yeah. Well, Dennis is one of those guys where if he's too conditioned, he's too flat. If he's too full, he's not hard enough.
Goldilocks.
Yeah.
Got to come in.
The porridge isn't just right yet, and he's unbelievable when he's full, the shape, everything, the size. Nobody's bigger. Nobody has a better silhouette. But he's just missing something.
I think what the key is. Not the key. I think you nailed it amazingly. The key word, silhouette. When he's standing, he won the Arnold Spain last year based on standing in the lineup. It was a show in which people last year, going back, they moved these guys around forever. And what the lasting impression was on me was standing. Wow, there's a lot to him.
Yeah. Well, he's so tall, he's so wide, he's got a nice tight waist, flaring quads. What more can you ask for? But once you start posing, especially against Dexter and Sean, that's when the trouble starts for him, because he starts to fade a little bit. He's got undersized glutes. They're either way undersized or too soft. So he hasn't quite figured out the recipe. The guy's unbelievable. So it's hard for me to sit here and break him down, but it is what it is.
Third place, Flexitron, Sean Rhoden. people. I thought he was.
Let's just call it what it is. I'm shaking my head. I don't know what happened. I thought
my working with him and working with you doesn't influence you on
because I won and
the biasness.
Yeah, no. I thought Sean was lights out. I don't know where that came from. They weren't comparing them at all in the prejudging from what I saw. Rami did look good. He looked better than
Rami was second.
Yeah. I didn't see how. I didn't know they were even comparing.
I think Rami was surprised.
Yeah, I'm guarantee he was. We'll ask him later.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think he's surprised. I think I'm surprised. I think everyone here is surprised. At the same time, I'm very happy for him. You couldn't ask for a better guy, and then maybe this will inspire him to make the right decisions and get his ass in gear, because this is how good he can do when he's way off.
I thought in prejudging he was way off. Fourth place, I thought he was harder tonight, and like you, he's a guy who can be technically pretty far off, but when he flexes stuff, there's so much to flex that you sit up in your chair and say, wow, that's a good front lat spread, that's a good back lat spread, that's a good side chest, that's a good side try, and he's got all the shots.
Well, that's just it. I was watching it backstage, and when they did compare him, his rear double, it's just so massive, and there is stuff going on. But up close, when you're backstage, he looks, to me, I love you, buddy, but he looked like he was 4 weeks out. It was compared to Sean. So I don't know. Sometimes that size and shape just mesmerize people, the judges, into seeing what they want to see, and good for him. I feel bad for Sean, but it is what it is. You take your licks, you give some licks, and keep coming back.
What do you say about Dexter Jackson? Where do you start? Where do you end? What do you say about him? I thought that Dexter was in second coming out of prejudging. Where would you have him?
Probably winning, just because.
Good for you.
Just because he's.
That shows you're not biased.
No, I'm not biased. I love Dexter. I love Sean.
You're an idiot.
But he's the guy who's just missing nothing, really. There's nothing to say about him. And sometimes it's boring. It's getting boring. Like, oh, he's perfect. There's nothing to say. He's not too big. He's not too small. He's not too hard. He's nothing. He's just Dexter. And when all the variables are counted, he's the one with the least flaws, and he wins.
I think this year, not the Arnold, this year, this run here, the 3 weeks, solidifies him as one of the absolute all-time greatest. You got to start, one of the greatest, because you have to take into consideration that he came from a bantamweight. You have to take into consideration that he used to lose a lot of shows but was great. You have to take into consideration that he's added mass over the years. You've got to take into consideration that he's won shows for like a 12-year period. Yeah. But now you got to take into consideration he's doing it at 46 and looking at 22-year-old chicks. I'm just kidding, Dexter.
Traveling the globe and doing it. Traveling the globe and doing it against guys half his age.
Twice his size. And that's not a negative.
And not losing enough, not coming in flat. I've never seen Dexter
ever
flat.
Ever.
Which is bizarre to me. And what that tells you is it's all real muscle. It's all old man, hard-earned muscle. And you can send him to Egypt and back, and he's feed him.
Gets tighter.
And he's going to get tighter, So, hats off to Dexter. Congratulations. The guy's, he's a superstar, Hall of Famer, and we're going to miss him a lot when he's gone, because
he might not go, dude. What do you slow it down? I mean, when? You think like next year? He's not going to retire next year. He's not going to retire the year after.
The generations after will not be able to appreciate what we got to witness,
what he's accomplished. Yeah. Well, that's it. The wrap up and our point of views of the Evil Pro European Championships 2015 here in Prague. The winners tonight are Jose, the Boston Massacre. I call you the Boston Massacre. Raymond, who is celebrating with a Budweiser. Was it a Budweiser?
It was some kind of European.
How was it?
Schlitz. It was pretty good. Okay. Yeah, I want to go finish it.
Celebrating with the 212 winner, Jose Raymond, and our hats off to the winner, unbelievable. Dexter Jackson takes the Madrid Arnold, takes the runner-up at the Olympia, takes the Arnolds in Australia, takes the Arnold in Ohio. It's got to be the most decorated year in the history of bodybuilding for any bodybuilder. This is Chris Aceto and Jose Raymond for RxMuscle.com.